are under attack, according to the United Nations.
For nearly 2 weeks, it's been like this. One after another, civilian targets have been hit. A bakery, the vat of dough still rising. People's homes. And 2 of East Aleppo's remaining hospitals, which has left doctors utterly overwhelmed. Rarely have conditions been this bad, says Dr. Rick Brennan of the World Health Organization.
Children and other civilians are being treated on the floor in corridors. There aren't enough intensive care beds. 4 children died in the last few days because the intensive care unit in one of the hospitals was full.
In the last 48 hours, there's been some ground fighting, as Iraqi and Iranian militias have joined Assad's depleted army. But there's no reason to think they're going to retake eastern Aleppo anytime soon, which simply puts terrified civilians trapped in the city in the line of even more fire.
Gunfire exploding at dawn in this upscale Houston neighborhood. Witnesses say a man armed with a laser-sighted rifle taking aim at the windshield of passing cars. A bullet missing this woman by inches.
All of a sudden, my windshield exploded.
Jennifer Melita's husband had just left for work when she heard his car screech to a halt.
He's screaming on the phone, "I'm hit, Jen, I'm hit."
Melita racing to find her husband, his cheek grazed.
The shooter was truly trying to kill.
9 people hit by bullets or flying glass. Police taking cover. The rampage coming to an end as police shoot the suspect dead. Investigators finding guns, 2,600 rounds of ammo, along with Nazi materials in and around his Porsche. That car registered to Houston attorney Nathan Desai.
7 people were also killed in Chicago and 36 others wounded in multiple shootings over the weekend. The city has been struggling with an extended spike in violence. Last month alone, 90 people were shot dead in the country's 3rd largest city. To stem the growing violence, the police department has decided to add nearly 1,000 officers. This will be the city's biggest increase in its force since the 1970s.
Move that patient towards the helicopter.
Cell phones in the pockets of frightened parents across this small town started burning up at 1:45 p.m. just before the end of classes for the day at Townville Elementary.
We did have a report of a 3rd patient.
Police say a local teenager armed with a handgun appeared at a playground behind the school and started shooting at teachers and children. A young boy was shot in the leg, another boy in the foot. A teacher trying to keep the kids safe was shot in the shoulder. One of the children had to be flown to a hospital in Greenville, South Carolina. Police got here fast. In 7 minutes, they had the teen in custody. Snipers went to the roof to clear the building while this all too familiar scene of moving children by school bus to a nearby church played out.
Everybody stay in the line, please.
About 2 miles from the school, another crime scene. Police say it's the father of the shooter, 46-year-old Jeffrey Osborne, and he's been shot dead. Police say the son was homeschooled, and they're not sure yet why he targeted the elementary school. School is canceled for the rest of the week.
Pakistan's military has arrested 7 militants accused of carrying out attacks on both a Christian group and a courthouse. 1 civilian was killed when 4 gunmen took over a Christian colony, and 12 people died when a suicide bomber struck the town of Mardan. The attacks were reportedly planned from Afghanistan, and a breakaway Taliban group has claimed responsibility.
Residents in Cedar Rapids are facing the threat of dangerous flooding as the Cedar River is expected to crest at 23 feet today. More than 10,000 people have been evacuated from homes and businesses. City officials urged residents to evacuate their homes over the weekend as floodwaters began to spill out of the swollen Cedar River. On Monday, the river level reached 20 feet and was quickly rising. City employees and volunteers have tried to mitigate damage from flooding and warn that people were still under significant risk if they did not abandon the areas near the river. In San Antonio, Texas, this aerial footage shows massive flooding, and the threat of flash flooding remains as heavy rains continue to hammer the region. Meanwhile, in Iowa, hundreds of volunteers are installing barriers and sandbags on both sides of the river ahead of more flooding.
Well, dry weather in California has produced an epidemic of wildfires. There are 7 burning. This one broke out yesterday in the mountains near Santa Cruz. It's already burned 1,100 acres and at least 2 homes. Hundreds more are threatened. and evacuations have been ordered.
Smashing windows and tearing apart houses.